Clean Sweep acts as both an anti-icer and as a de-icer. Liquid Clean Sweep is basically liquid CMA, so it's safe for use on new concrete. It's a clear liquid, and the key to it is to get it to be applied at the proper rate, hitting the target the way you want to. In order to do that, there are several ways that you could apply it. One of the nicest ways to do it is with what we call a clean sweep sprayer. That sprayer is a 9-gallon tank that is in this shape. Basically, this fits in an 80-pound spreader, and it drops in. It just rests in that spreader. The sprayer is all self-contained. It includes the battery, the pump, pressure regulator, pressure gauge, and an on-off switch for the nozzle. Also a wand here that you can be turning on and off. And then it has the cable that runs up to the handle, where we just plug that into the switch here. And it's ready to go. Basically, one other thing, on the very front of it, we like to use a single nozzle, because with a single nozzle you don't have to worry about applying this when there's somebody walking nearby. If you had a boom sticking out on the edges, there'd be a good chance that you could hit somebody across the shins with it. The nozzle basically just fits into these brackets. And you adjust it so that the nozzle is pointing straight across the front. And then this nozzle, you can loosen this, and the nozzle can either be lifted up or sprayed down like this. And it's a matter of adjusting it the first time and calibrating, and then you know you're set to go. The rate of application should be somewhere between a half a gallon per 1,000 square feet and up to 2 gallons per 1,000 square feet. In order to hit that half gallon rate with this green nozzle, we set this up to calibrate. You want to set a spray pattern that's going to be about 5 feet wide. So we'll just turn it on real quickly here, and we'll check that pattern to see just how wide it is. As you can see, the pattern goes from over here to over here, and that's a little bit too wide. That would be a little bit over 6 feet, probably closer to 7 feet the way it is right now. So I'm going to turn that nozzle down a bit. Let's give that another try. And there's your 5-foot pattern. Now you can measure that with a tape, of course, make sure that it's correct. The next thing you want to do is set this at 15 pounds of pressure. So the pressure gauge gives us a real accurate reading of where we're at. We'll turn it on, and right now we're at 20. If I turn it in, I can turn it up to 25. I can bring it right back down to 15, and we're very accurate in our pressure. Now the only variable then is the speed at which you walk, and if you walk at a brisk speed, a brisk walk, that'll put out a half a gallon per 1,000. We're going to demonstrate that so that you can get some idea what a half a gallon per 1,000 would look like on a flat top. As you can see, that's not a lot of volume. If you look at it and you just wait a few seconds, the asphalt or concrete will start to turn a little bit wet, and you'll be able to see that. As it hardly even looks wet. The nice thing about using a liquid like this is that you can really control hitting your target and putting the accurate amount of material on. You could do it with a handheld pump type sprayer, but that's a little bit tougher because you're waving your wand as you're walking and so on. The other thing that is real nice about this setup is that you can turn this switch off here. Now there's nothing going down to the nozzle, and at this point you can use the wand. So if you just switch it on again. The nice thing about having a wand is that you can do steps and you can do doorways, entranceways, things like that. And because this material is not corrosive, it won't do any damage, not only to concrete and not only to steel and so on, but it also will not damage doorways, any parts of the door jambs or anything like that. So you can get right up. And at this rate of a half a gallon per 1,000 square feet, even at the 2-gallon rate per 1,000, this material would not track into a building. There would be no tracking, and it's a bond breaker. What happens is it'll melt a little bit of snow as it comes down, but then once it's down, it keeps the snow and ice from bonding to the asphalt or concrete. So if you were to walk over it, your footstep wouldn't be glued to the surface. If you were to drive over it, the same thing. You'd be able to just come in and very easily with a shovel, a snowblower, a broom, any way of removing the snow. It's just not going to be bonded. It'll come off very, very easily.